What's up, guys? So today I have a Yabo, yet another box opening. If you don't know, that's what it stands for. And this is a knife that I did a trade for, all right? But this is a knife with an interesting story. But first, I have another story that brings me into how I traded this knife. So I was talking to someone on Instagram. That's where I do most of my trading. Like the vast majority is on Instagram. I still use a little bit of Facebook for trading. I do still use the forums occasionally, blade forums, knife forums. There's plenty of other out there. But anyway, someone approached me, which happens quite often. They said, hey, I'm looking for Balisongs. Are you willing to trade or sell any? And at this time in my life, I'm not. I'm trying to collect them. At some point, I had a pretty big Balisong collection, and I had a very important bill to pay and some things to pay off and stuff, so I sold all of them. Literally, just sold all of them except for like one or two, and I regret it. A lot of those Balisongs were hard to get, so I've been trying to build up my collection again for the last year or so, and generally speaking, I'm not willing to trade off or sell Balisongs. I'm trying to accumulate them, not get rid of them. But this person happened to ask specifically for a Balisong that I happen to have two of. There's maybe 3 different models I have doubles of. So I said, you know what? All right, fine. I'll work it out. And at the end of the day, it didn't work out at all. They offered me a couple higher end production knives, but then wanted to match the value. And so I offered a couple cheaper knives to match the value, but they weren't interested in those particular knives. So the trade didn't work out. But at this point, I happen to have a bunch of pictures of this knife. So I thought, you know what? I have it out and everything. I'll just post it. I'll post it for sale or trade. So this is a BladeHQ limited edition like sprint run of the 51 Morpho from Benchmade. All right, these had the green scales. This particular one was the black coated blade version. The knife was like maybe 95%. There was a little bit of wear from carry and a little bit on the pocket clip only, and a little bit of wear on the blade, the black coating where it rubbed on the handles. All right, so I listed this knife for $320, okay? And I had a couple people right away from the flipping community go, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's, come on, man. In fact, one of the comments was, bruh, B-R-U-H, bruh, come on, $320. So as it turns out, people were generally selling these knives when they were available, okay, for between $200 and $250, depending on condition. All right, so people were basically thinking that this was overpriced. I was asking way too much for this particular knife. Now, I wasn't generally listing this knife to sell it for that price. What happens is, when I list something for sale, I'll usually list it a little bit higher than I expect. If no one's interested, I can lower the price. That's how that works. If I list it for $50 and someone wants to buy it, I can't say, all right, how about $100? And they say, okay. And I say, well, how about $180? It doesn't work like that. I can always lower a price. I can't raise it. So generally speaking, if I am asking what people think is a lot, it gets lower and lower and lower until it sells. And 99% of the time when I sell knives, whether they're new or used, I sell them cheaper than you can get them anywhere. If I'm looking to sell a knife, I will look on the dealer sites and see what they sell for. And depending on if it's a $200 knife, I'll drop it $50 just because I want a quick sale. So a lot of people hook me up all the time. I like passing that on, and I offer really awesome deals on knives. But in this particular case, I got a couple people got on my case about it who are in the flipping community, right? And they go, oh, bro, come on. This sells for like $250. Why are you asking $320? Well, this knife sold new for $285, okay? This knife is no longer made, and every single Benchmade Balisong in history, every one of them, rose in value over time. They're just sought after knives. So from a collector standpoint, it's worth every bit of that $320. In fact, it might only take a year or two before that is worth $400 or $500. Who knows? But with time, it will rise in value. It is an investment knife for a collector. But the people who got on my case, I understand where they're coming from, because from a flipping standpoint, the 51 isn't really on top of the list. A lot of people think they're light, unbalanced, so it appeals a little bit more to the collectors, or maybe some people want to get into higher end stuff but don't want to fork over $400. So at the end of the day, I know I can ask whatever I want for my knives. I can ask $500 for it, I can ask $1,000 for it. If it doesn't sell, that's fine. I don't know why other people are concerned with what I'm asking for my stuff. But I get it, I get where they're coming from. They were more thinking about from a flipping perspective. Plus, they're talking about, sale prices that were in the past. All right, when people said, hey, you can get it for $250, I said, all right, show me one for sale right now for $250. If you can get it for $250, I'll sell it for $250. But no one could provide that for me until after the fact. And even after the fact, it was still closer to what I was asking. So it's just market, supply and demand. Knives that go discontinued, they're all over the place with prices, all right? with time, the harder it is to find those as the market dries up. There's only X amount of these made. You know, it's not like one of the most popular knives anyway, so that's why people, I think, devalued it in the flipping community. Not the best flipper, not the most sought after, so they're thinking, hey, it's $200, $250, but I saw it a little bit differently. So anyway, all that aside, I got contacted by someone who was offering to trade a folder for it. And at first I'm like, all right, the folder they offered was something I was interested in that I never got. It's also discontinued. And once I'm thinking like, all right, you know, maybe I'm kind of interested in that. But then they told me the story behind it. And I was like, sold. Absolutely, we'll do a trade because it's a knife with a story. And I love a knife with a good story. So after all that blabbing, let's take a look at what that knife is, all right, and what the story is. So today's EDC is a Gerber Fast Draw, all right. I will definitely do a review on this, all American made in Portland, Oregon, S30V Gerber, all right. Very, very impressive. It's been a while since I was super impressed by a Gerber knife, so I'm very excited to eventually do a video on that. So let's dig in here. All right, these little boxes, I did this in my last video, but there's a little tab here. If the person doesn't tape all the way across, it's really easy to slip the knife in, cut that one tab, and then you can remove the whole flap on the end. All right, they just so happen to have tape on the one side. So that's okay. All right. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll definitely review that in the future now that I'm EDCing it. Okay. So we have a note. We have a knife. Let's look at the knife first, and then I'll read the note. It is a Spyderco. Very nice Spyderco at that. No pouch. Ooh, look at that. I know some of you guys, you know your knives, so right away you know what's up. This is the Spyderco Lionspy. All right, so this is a collaboration between LionSteel and Spyderco. Right, Lionspy, Spyderco, LionSteel. Anyway, pretty awesome knife. I've had a rip-off version of this knife. I've never had the LionSteel version, which I would think would be interesting down the road to compare between this. But this is Spyderco's take on it, right? Their collaboration. First impressions, it's just super comfortable. All right, wide blade, lots of belly, not as much point on this particular model. All right, but with all that belly, should be a really good slicer. You can see Elmax steel. All right, it's a great edge retention. And a couple extra features in this knife as well, which we'll go over in the future if I end up doing a review on it. But very, very cool knife. But here's the story on it. Let me lock this up, close it, and read the note. All right. Hey, Jeff. Thanks for doing this trade, first of all. I've been a fan for a long time. This knife has a pretty cool story. Back in 2014 at Blade, a buddy of mine bought this knife. Same year, I had the pleasure of meeting you at the show. In the video you released about Blade Show 2014, I actually had this thing on me. Fast forward about 4 years, I get a hold of a knife through a trade. Now it's heading your way. I hope you can enjoy the knife more than I did, mainly because I was afraid to use it too much. Thanks, Dalton. Dalton in Georgia. So yes, I met Dalton at the Blade Show, all right, which I haven't been since. I went to SHOT Show and Blade Show the same year, or back to back, and had a blast. But since then, I just haven't had the time or the money for travel. I hope to do it again in the future. It's progressed every year. I watch all the videos like all the rest of you guys. And I'm telling you, if you ever have the opportunity to go, specifically Blade Show, SHOT Show has a lot more gun stuff. It's also, like when I was at SHOT Show, I'm walking around, I'm hearing like people in suit and ties talking about buying, 30,000, 50,000 firearms for government. I mean, it is like very, very businessy. You know what I mean? It's a little bit less personal. And I mean, it is the biggest gun show there is. There happens to be a ton of knives because guns and knives go together, but specifically Blade Show. Blade Show, Atlanta, Georgia. Man, that is a heck of a time. It is literally a mecca for knife lovers. So if you're into it and you ever have the opportunity, do make the trip. It's worth every second. It's just one of the best times I've ever had in my life, honestly. So that being said, it's got a very cool story. This will stay in the collection for a very long time just because of a particular mechanism, which you guys might or might not know about. But if you don't, you stay tuned. I'm sure someone will mention it in the comment anyway. Well, we'll just talk about it real quick. LionSteel has this rotating piece here, okay, that locks the frame lock. All right, so it's extra, extra strong. Not that a frame lock is ever going to fail on you to begin with, but it's just a really interesting feature that you don't see on other knives. So yeah. Anyway, just like I said, first impression is really nice. Locks up fantastic. I mean, obviously LMAX is awesome. The only thing really with this design is the lack of like an acute point, but I don't think it's a huge issue. But yeah, I really appreciate it, Dalton. Thank you so much. It was awesome meeting you. It just brought back a lot of memories because, like I said, Blade Show, it was a time of life, honestly, down there with my wife, which was awesome. I'm glad she was able to experience that with me. Just could not get enough of it. It's literally Disneyland for knife guys and knife girls. So anyway, that is all. Thank you very much. Down in the comment section, let me know if you've ever been to Blade Show. That'd be interesting to find out. But yeah, hopefully one day in the future, don't know when, but one of these years I'll make it back. And if I do, of course, I'll let everyone know. Every year people ask me, hey, I'm going to Blade Show, you're going to be there, I'd like to meet you, I'd like to do, you know, get together, talk knives or whatever. And I have to always say the same thing. Not this year, but maybe next year. And I've been doing that for a while. But anyway, that is it. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I will see you tomorrow with another video. Take care.